Hello, the title of this video is Interesting Facts about Robots.txt. So let's jump on the first fact, and it's about crawling. It says that unless you specify otherwise in your Robots.txt file, all files are implicitly allowed for crawling. This means that by default, crawlers crawl every part of your site, and unless you specify them, they will crawl everything on your site. So that's what robots.txt is for. Like if you want to disallow something, then you can. The next fact is about crawling, like controlling the crawling thing. So it says that there are 3 different ways by which you can block the crawlers from crawling your site, and these are robots.txt, robots meta tag, which is the no index no follow thing, and the xrobot tag http header. All of these are used in different scenarios and different situations. So it is not necessary that you would use robots meta tag instead of robots.txt. They all are used in different scenarios. The third fact is about crawl rate. It says that if you want to slow down Googlebot activity on your site, then you can do by adjusting the crawl rate. Although it is not recommended, but if you think that the activity of crawlers on your site is too much, or your server is being impacted by the Googlebot or any other bot's activity, then you can adjust the crawl rate so that they don't put a pressure on your server. Although it is not recommended to do so, because most of the times the crawlers are respectable and they know how to crawl your website efficiently so that they don't overload your server. But if you do think that your website servers are being loaded by the crawlers activity, then instead of blocking the crawlers or maybe limiting the crawl rate, you should try to dig down and look for the main problem, which is that your server is not able to handle too many requests. Suppose your website had too much traffic than what you have expected, then what you would do? Then you cannot adjust the traffic, or you cannot adjust how many visitors are on your site at a given point of time. Then the main thing is that you should try to dig and look for the main problem, which is the server not ability to handle the traffic, and not the Google bot or any other bot for that matter. The next point is about HTTP codes. So it says that if your server keeps showing a 500 or 503 HTTP status code for a long time when Googlebot tries to access your robots.txt file, then Google might decide to completely remove your website from the search results. This is very concerning, and you should look into it, that if your website server is down and it is showing a 500 or 503 error on the website for a long time, and because it is showing this error, the Googlebot will try to access your robots.txt more frequently than it should. And if you don't look into it and if you don't solve the issue in given time, then Google may decide that it will drop the whole site from its indexing, and this will not benefit you. The next is about international sites and their robots.txt files. It says that if you want to, you can use a single robots.txt file for all of your international sites. This is not the best idea, but technically you can implement your robots.txt this way. So the thing is that when you are dealing with international sites, you have to make different robots.txt for each version of your international sites. So technically you can make all of those versions in a single robots.txt file, but it is not the best idea for the crawlers. So the best practice is that you should make different files for different versions of your website. The sixth fact is about 400 codes. So it says that if you serve a 400 something code on your website except for 429 with your robots.txt file, then Google will ignore the rules you have specified in that file. This means that if your robots.txt is showing a 400 status code, then Google will ignore that you have a robots.txt file and crawl the whole site as normal, except for 429, which means that the bot has sent too many requests and it should slow down. The seventh fact is about URL parameters. It says that do not use robots.txt to block the indexing of URLs with parameters. If you do this, Google won't be able to canonicalize those URLs and you will lose all the benefits of having links to those pages. Instead, use rel canonical and link consistently throughout your site. Suppose you have URL with parameters like the ones with the UTM parameters, then you don't need to block those URLs or block the indexing of those URLs with the robots.txt, because if you are blocking the crawling of these and indexing of these URLs with robots.txt, then Google won't know which is the correct canonical version, and you will lose all of the benefits. Like suppose the UTM parameter link that you have generated for your home page has attracted a bunch of links, and if you decide to no index or maybe remove or maybe disallow that page from robots.txt, then this link won't count in your main link equity, and this will be a bad thing for you. Instead, you should use rel canonical tag, which specifies which page is the canonical version or the main version of a page, and you should link consistently throughout your site. The next fact is about disallowing robots.txt. It says that if you try to disallow your robots.txt within your robots.txt, then it won't impact how Google processes and accesses that robots.txt. Suppose this means that suppose you want to stop the crawling of the robots.txt and you don't want it to appear in the search results, and you are disallowing your robots.txt within the robots.txt, then it won't impact how Google is processing and presenting the information and how it is accessing that robots.txt file. The next is about the existence of robots.txt. It says that if you only have to write these 2 lines, which means that the whole site is allowed for crawlers to crawl, then you might as well remove the whole file and don't make it at all, because as I told you before, the by default thing with crawlers is that if you don't have a robots.txt, it means that you can crawl all of the site without any problem. So if you want to specify just these 2 lines that you can crawl any page, then might as well don't have the file at all. The next fact is about robots.txt and ranking. It says that if your robots.txt is ranking for normal queries, like any kind of queries, like you are searching for anything and your robots.txt file is showing in the search, then it's usually a sign that your site is really bad and should be improved. Because you don't want your robots.txt to appear in the search results and it is appearing in the search results, this means that your site has some problems and you need to fix those problems. The last fact is about removing pages from search, and it says when you want to remove indexed pages from Google search, you should not block Google with robots.txt but rather use no index. This simply means that if you don't want a page to be appearing in search results, then robots.txt is not the best solution for you. Instead, you should use the robots meta tag, which is the no index no follow tag, and it says that you should only remove pages from the index if you don't care about their rankings. If you want a page to rank well, you should improve its quality. So this means that if you don't care about the page and its ranking and whatever, then you can remove the pages from the index by adding the no index tag. But if you want this page to rank well and you care about the rankings and stuff, then you should improve the quality of the page rather than no indexing the page. So that's it for this video. I will link the slides in the description so that you can check it out, and thank you.